Bonjour, I am Sandrine. Together, we will learn about the infinite quantum and galactic realms so we can embody more of our multidimensionality and accelerate our ascension.
I would love for us to understand a little bit what quantum means, because we see like quantum is shared by a lot of people and so on, but what does it actually mean? For me, quantum means the interaction between two different particles. So the quantum is actually the interaction between our microcosm and our macrocosm. Our microcosm is everything that concerns the internal reality. So if we are to think about polarities of masculine and feminine, the quantum is the dance between both. It is the organic merging of both, the organic dance that happens. Quantum was created from the foundation of life itself. The first dimension, the unity point consciousness, the 0 point of creation, came from the all-enveloping divine feminine frequency, which was relaxing in itself. It's a bit what some mystics call the womb of the dark womb of the mother of all things, like in the Sophia Code, where she talks about that. It is really like there is just stillness. Everything resides there. There is no movement. Everything is relaxed. Everything is coexisting. And then there is this movement of penetration, this movement of divine masculine, and the divine masculine, which resides within the womb of the divine feminine, asks the question, who am I? And because of this question, which is a penetrating force of getting to know himself, I was like, what is going on in this black space here? What is this? Therefore, to be able to answer this question, there is this copy-pasting of fractal reflection. So like one fractal simply copy-paste itself into another fractal. It's like two mirrors, and they start interacting, observing, who am I? And the other one say, know thyself, know yourself. And it's like, oh, I am that I am. And then the dance starts between the two polarities. So it's the second dimension. So when we consider a duality is not negative. Duality is simply what is, to allow us to understand who we are. And this is the quantum. The quantum is born from everything that dances with itself. It is the attraction of polarities. It is the mirroring effect. It is realizing that everything that's inside me is a mirror to everything that's outside, and also the opposite. So the quantum, it is literally coming from the microcosm to the macrocosm and coming back from the macrocosm to the microcosm. In a mystic school, we would call it the Holy Spirit, for example, or as Isis says, it is the Horus. The Horus is the sun between Isis and Osiris. The Horus is simply the dynamic between them. It becomes the child. It represents the relationship. So the quantum is literally the relationship between all things. That is a little bit the foundation upon which the teachings are being channeled and given in most mystic schools and into this new era where spiritual teachers start reactivating quantum terminology. It is really always showing that there is interaction, there is a dance. And when we start understanding this dance between polarities, we can start understanding that when we reach a union with the self, it is by allowing these two polarities of the masculine and the feminine to dance with each other. It is literally like the yin and the yang. This beautiful symbol of the yin and the yang represents that. That's the quantum. It is like within the white, there is the dark. Within the dark, there is the white, and they dance together. It's not a straight line. They didn't create the yin and the yang with the straight line. It's a dance. It's a dance of polarities. So Here already, it's like a definition that you can add somewhere. It's like when we really consider the polarity of the feminine, it is the lunar frequency, the negative polarity. It is the inward movement. It is the microcosm. When we consider the masculine polarity, it is the outward frequency, the sun, solar frequency, the masculine frequency. This is this outward movement, the penetrating force. It is healthy boundary, so the divine feminine can flow inside. When we look at our reality, both dance beautifully. It's like we know that the sun rises in the morning and sets in the evening. That is divine masculine being there, saying that you are safe to experiment life during this time of the day, and at night your physical body needs regenerating. We enter a different frequency, and then the divine feminine experience in that, and it can be like from the sun, but it's everything. It's the seed that grows into a tree, for example, is the mother who has a child growing in her womb for 9 months. It's not like all over the place, or sometimes it's going to be 1 month, sometimes it's going to be 20 months, because that wouldn't work. Okay, so both polarities are equally important. So when we think about working on our quantum self, it's important to realize that we are learning to balance these two polarities always. And at times, for some of us, we feel more masculine frequency or more feminine frequency, and that is fine, because sometimes we need to be in our divine feminine flow, or simply relaxing, looking at the clouds and singing, and just being in channeling and being with our intuition, like preparing food for ourselves, for our family, like doing our hair. All of that self-care is feminine frequency. And then at times we feel like this, oh, I want to work, I want to create this offering, I want to go, to the gym or for a run, like I need to call this person to activate this, and that's penetrating force. I need to organize my things, to clear my closets, and everything like that. All of that is divine masculine force. And so when we are in that movement, we allow that movement to be. And it is constantly a movement. So a lot of people ask me, a lot of students, a lot of people, they ask me, why is it that I'm experiencing ups and downs? And I would love to invite you to remove that from your vocabulary, because we don't experience ups and downs as such. I understand what we mean with that, but it's like very often in this current reality, a down is simply actually divine feminine frequencies arising. We need to have a rest. We feel like a bit confused, because we are not taught that. We are not taught that it is okay, for example, to spend days without knowing exactly what we're doing, but we just feel like resting. We just feel like literally having time with our friends. We don't feel like doing anything. We feel sometimes a little bit lost, but we feel lost because we don't know that it's a time for introspection. It is a time for reflection. It is the time for journaling. It's the time for being with the self, into meditation. So sometimes when people mention that they feel a little bit down, it is simply because of the resistance into entering the womb, the frequency of the divine feminine, because we are supposed to always be able to go and keep a routine and our discipline and our morning ritual and everything. It's like that's divine masculine frequency. So I would love to invite you to reclaim your quantum self, your quantum inner architecture, by understanding, by realizing, well, at times I feel like that, and at times I feel like that. Both are equal. And at times I feel very connected to my soul. At times I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And at times I don't know. And when I don't know, what do? I don't panic. I don't freak out. It is simply, there's something going on in my field. I'm probably shifting. The collective is shifting. What do I need to do in this moment? It is be there for myself. I'm going to be there for my body. I'm going to be there for my hair. I'm going to be there, for like making food and making love to my partner, or whatever, is going to make me feel relaxed and happy. Okay, so that's a little bit how we can feel the quantum as it relates to ourselves through the dance of these polarities. It is also what we are experiencing in the macrocosm. So now we are going to learn a little bit about the difference between the Newtonian paradigm and then the quantum paradigm, because it is very much what is going on at the moment within the collective. So the Newtonian paradigm has been dominating science for the last 3 centuries. So this Newtonian paradigm means that everything can be isolated and reduced to its single parts, to its single individual parts. And these single individual parts function on a linear, logical, clockwork way. It is literally isolating the atom and saying the atom works this way. It is literally saying like the sun rises and it is A plus B and it sets at night. All the Newtonian paradigm is about determinism, separatism, reductionism, and materialism. So it's been wonderful to be able to experience that. Like Einstein, for example, very strongly a Newtonian scientist, and like all the scientists for the last 300 years. And it's wonderful because we have been able to develop microscope, like we have been able to develop telescope, you know, like seeing in the macro and seeing in the micro. So we have been able to understand what is like the organs inside, how everything functions. And it's been really wonderful. And what's interesting to observe is that many scientists, like Einstein, for example, when he came across things that did not fit in that paradigm, instead of keeping his mind open, as he said he did, like I say, like always keep your mind open so science progress, he disqualified it as being woo-woo whack because he could not fit that into separatism and determinism and this logical thinking. For example, with the Newtonian paradigm, it's very much the foundation of a lot of logic that science bases itself upon, but also the media, marketing, anything in society that wants to make us believe that A plus B equals C. When I was at university studying law, I had this amazing teacher, and we studied logic, and I was fascinated because that teacher explained to us that basically through this logical formula, you can make people believe anything at all. And he gave us this example to this day that still like resonates with me when I see some, you know, of this separatism and determinism happening in the world. He says that this is how it works with this Newtonian paradigm. It is like everything that is round is a cheese. Everything that is round is a cheese. The moon is round. Therefore, the moon is a cheese. And I know it sounds super silly, but when we think about that, there's a lot that is based upon that. When we start thinking about that, we also put a lot of understanding ourselves in a reality like that, A plus B equals C. That's reductionist. And it's been wonderful, but this separatism has reached its peaking point because we have entered the quantum paradigm. And before that, a long time ago during the golden ages, in many ancient civilizations, the quantum paradigm was just already, it was a matter of fact because the quantum is life. The quantum is life itself. When we understand this, we can also see that if we were to think that there was a war between evil and the light, and that the light must want, how is the light going to want? Like, the light doesn't need to be protected or defended because the light is the quantum. That's what is. That's what encompassing everything. If there is one force in the entire freaking creation, universe, multiverse, galaxy, whatever you want to place it, that does not need protecting, it's the light, it's God itself, it's source itself. It simply is. It is the network of relationship between all things. That is the light, that is the quantum. We've always lived in a quantum paradigm. Only our eyes were directed into very tiny particles, into very tiny formulas based on separatism and determinism and materialism. We did that because it was necessary for us to break free from ages where there was not even that. Science became revolutionary back then. When the Newtonian paradigm came and Einstein came, like humanity took very many advanced, steps into understanding who we are as physical beings. So that's been wonderful. But when we understand that, is that there's never a chance for that to win the separatism, because it is a tiny key within the greater algorithm of life itself. And also, which is very interesting, I feel like some kind of a little bit ironic in a way, is that we already live in the quantum paradigm, because you can see me now. Information travels. We can 3D print, like everything is quantum. When the internet was created, it is created upon quantum principles, because information travel from one place to another place. Like I'm not there in your lounge talking. So it's not like A plus B equals C, it's just like an algorithm of quantum dynamics that travels and that allows me to be present in the lounge on this screen. So information is quantum already. And I'm going to show you how it is actually in the next section when we go more into what quantum paradigms really is. So everything exists under the quantum level. It's like from the tiniest particle to the universe. And it also means that the universe is participatory. So in the Newtonian paradigm, it's like there is nothing but just matter. Like there is nothing else, when we die, there is nothing left. So it ignores a big part of life. It even ignores the mind, basically. So which is interesting, it ignores the mind, it ignores the emotion, it ignores everything as that is going to influence matter. So in the quantum paradigm, we know that the universe is participatory, which means that basically our choices, our thoughts, our words, and our actions all influence our lives. Everything matters. And that brings power back into our hands. That's the digital age. We are in the digital age. The Aquarius time that we are now is the time of information. Aquarius is all about information. It is everything. It's about a fast pace, accelerated evolution, awakening. So the dynamics offered to us are the digital age. So it is also interesting to know that the science, technology is completely interwoven with our awakening. When we co-create with star races, we see that they have very advanced technology. They did not poo-poo the technology of this or that as being evil. They learn to use it for good. That is the difference. It is not because we are on Facebook that it is very bad, that we are in danger. There are certain elements of it that are not of the highest, but we can choose to perceive it as a gift. For example, I'm very grateful I can reach my community through social media. We keep on increasing. Now I would like it to have more integrity and honesty, but we can realize that we are learning. As humanity, we are learning to use technology and the digital age to create life, to support individuals, and not the opposite. So it's very exciting because we are actually already in the quantum paradigm. So according to the quantum paradigm, the universe has 4 properties. So remember that with the Newtonian paradigm, the four properties are determinism, separatism, materialism, and reductionism. Now the quantum paradigms, it's got the 4 qualities, and that is on paper there. You can see it's complementary, contextual, conscious, and connected. And that's very exciting because from this understanding, which is quantum physics, you will start understanding more about yourself, your interaction with your body, your physical body, your thoughts, your emotions, your spiritual self, and also your interaction with the world and the decisions that you make. So I will share this now. a bit of this theory now, and then I will bring it into a specific field to understand the greater picture of the dynamics unfolding at the moment for us. So when we think that the universe is complementary, it is based upon the uncertainty principle. So scientists have observed that it is impossible to precisely measure two observable that are tied together as complementary pairs. So it is impossible to precisely observe and measure two observable that are tied together as complementary pairs. What the hell does that mean? Is that, for example, we have energy and time. So scientists have demonstrated that it is impossible to precisely measure an object that is moving in terms of energy, or anything that is moving, anything that is present in movement. We don't know exactly the amount of energy it has precisely. So we just observe it moving. So for example, it is like when we are thinking about the past and we are thinking about the future, it is impossible to know exactly the amount of energy that we have, because some of energy is moving in the past and some of our energy is moving in the future. This is why the power of the present moment is so much shared through many people and spiritual leaders at the moment. It's like, because it is only when we reside fully, consciously in the present moment with every breath that we take, that we have access to our full energy. When we have access to our full energy, only imagine what can reside there, because we are beings that have an electromagnetic field and an electric field that is huge. So therefore, when we are in meditation, we feel it. We just feel the energy. We increase the velocity of our electrons in our physical body. Therefore, we increase our vibrations, and therefore we increase our frequency. So when we know that there is this principle of complementarity, we can understand more why it's so important to always go back in the now. Always go back in the now. Don't think about the future, about whatever is going on in your life and in the world right now, because that's depleting your energy. Don't think about the past, on how things were and what we should have or should not have done, because it's gone. It's not going to be there. It's not there any longer. Now we live here, because I can touch myself, I know I'm breathing here, so there's only now that matters. In the now, if I can harness my full potential energy, all of that is simply going to reflect and create my external reality, because I'm a quantum being. So like scientists, and this is where Einstein got really annoyed, and he said like, oh, I'm not going to look into it because this is woo-woo whack. Basically, it's kind of, so he said that about two things. They observed that light is both a wave and particle. So basically, it depends of the way the experiment is set. So if they set the experiment to observe life as a wave, light as a wave, it will be a wave. If they experience with light being a particle and they set that to observe that, then it will be proven that it's a particle. So it's very mind-boggling. And here we already come into the second principle of contextual. The universe is contextual. It means that the quantum behavior depends on the conditions given for the experiment. So it's got like, we give meaning when we observe something, and that depends on the assumption we make and the context of observation. So if we think that everything resides in the quantum, everything is simply there, everything is inside us. Like when I'm in meditation and there is nothing, but then I'm going to observe one thought, and it means that we pull that out of the quantum. And we pull that out, and I'm going to observe that thought from the context of my experiment, from the context of my belief system, the context of my fear, the context of the people that are always saying these things around me. So the quantum is contextual. It depends on how we place ourselves, and it depends on what meaning we give to things. And all of that we learn in childhood, you know, we learn from our parents, we learn that, so for some of us, it's like, yeah, silly example. For some of us, depending on our upbringing, like running naked on the beach or in the garden can be something very, very good or something completely unacceptable. That is completely contextual. It's like there is not A plus B equals C here. It's like it depends on how we feel. It depends the meaning we give to it. It's like, oh, that child is a free spirit. She's just like she's just experiencing like her physical natural body, that's all. And then other people could say like, oh, it's really inappropriate, we don't do these kind of things, you know, it's really shocking me. And that is also because I have learned that that's completely contextual. So everything that comes into your awareness, observe the context, observe what is going on. At the moment, with everything that is going on in the world, this contextual phenomenon is very enhanced. Okay? So the third principle, sorry, it's conscious. And that being conscious is really completely different from separatism, a Newtonian paradigm. So it means that basically that the universe is conscious and the quantum world is non-local. So that's also what Einstein did not like, which I think is very funny. So quantum entanglement shows that the universe is conscious. Basically, like they set up that experiment and two people are separated by just a wall. And they have like all of these, you know, systems in their brain scan and so on. And they observe that in laboratories as well, you know, like through their science experiment and so on. So anyway, when a light or torch is being shown into the eyes of this person here, it triggers certain reaction in the brain. That the second person has the same effect in the brain, even though there's no light being shown in the eyes. And it is proven that a particle that has been in connection with another particle and that now resides at the other end of the planet will respond in similar ways, even they are not connected. So that's crazy. So that's woo. That's literally what the Newtonian scientists say. It's crazy. And instead of saying it's crazy, like let's keep studying this, let's keep understanding it, they say like let's not talk about this. It's bad, you know, like it's woo whack. And therefore it's like let's bottle that up. But it's actually literally that's the digital age. It's me on one side of the planet connecting through internet, connecting all of these amazing digital science there with you. So that's literally that's conscious. So it means also that we can relax in the knowing that through this principle of quantum entanglement, all the work that we do on ourselves to increase our level of frequency, to increase our consciousness, also act in the particles of all the peoples we have known. And if we take that even further, because all the particles, even of matter that exist, were once part of this big ball before the Big Bang in our solar universe, then it means that we can influence everything. How amazing is that? And the last one is literally that as well. It's connected. So through the quantum paradigm, we know that the universe is connected. We know that we are connected exactly through quantum entanglement. And we are connected to every particle that we have ever come across. And that's humans, but that is also energy. That is the earth, and that is the outer space as well. So beyond energy and matter, information is intrinsic in the universe. So this means that this principle of connection shows that what is the most potent ingredient or key in this greater understanding of the universe is information. It is not even energy or matter. It is not even light, it's information. The information I choose to carry in my field, the information I choose to feed, the information I choose to react to or not to react to. Because through the information I give to my cells, it is going to give this information all the way to my atoms. And because the DNA is made out of atoms, all of a sudden my DNA is going to open up and I'm going to experience magnificent health. I'm going to experience a long life being healthy. Because the information I give to my cells through the principle of quantum entanglement going to affect each and every person that has come in my field, the energy field, the universe itself, I know that the information I give to myself and the world through my thoughts and my words do really matter. What is the dialogue that I choose to have? What are the words that I cultivate? What are my heart qualities? How do I see others? How do I see society? Do I see an evil war happening? Do I see the demons descending upon us, making us like robots? Or do I see a beautiful bridge open for awakening, for sovereignty, of choice, for acceptance, compassion, love? So we can see that what is going on at the moment is the dismantling of the Newtonian paradigm of separatism.